This book is called Abyssal Research Notes. It can be found by completing the Abyssal MiniQuest, where you help the Zamorakian mage. If lost, this book can be reclaimed by the Zamorakian mage or found in your player-owned house. A compendium of research into chaotic space. Authored unknown. The strange dimension we have named Abyssal Space is something of an enigma. It was first discovered during a routine teleportation experiment that seemingly went wrong. We are still not sure as to what caused this teleportation failure, but the discovery of a previously unknown dimension led to a flurry of research from the Zamorakian Magical Institute, henceforth known within this document as the ZMI. Under direct orders to examine this dimension, I feel I can accurately state the following conclusions. Conclusion 1. Abyssal space is not a dimension in the way that we understand the term from examples such as Xanaris or Fernesque. Rather, it is the name we have given the dimension that exists between other, more developed dimensions, the glue that keeps each dimension together, yet separate, if you will. The abyssal space's existence at the fringe of reality means that it does not conform to the same guidelines of space and time as Gielinor does. You may enter it and then leave it from an identical spot, yet reappear many hundreds of miles at your target destination, the teleportation phenomena that we use daily. From this basic concept, I have extrapolated that all teleport magics in fact use abyssal space to make the passing of great distances occur in very short space of time, from our perception. What actually is happening is that the spellcaster is entering abyssal space and then immediately leaving again, with certain values as to speed and direction being taken care of in our spellcasting to allow some degree of precision in these teleports. More worryingly, it seems apparent that the barriers between our dimensional space and abyssal space have become somewhat weakened through excessive use. There have been isolated reports within the Zamorakian Magic Institute that creatures not native to our dimension have entered Gielinor through abyssal space, as well as the teleportation malfunction that first resulted in our discovery of this dimension. I strongly recommend that further research is taken. If the barriers between these dimensions are sufficiently weakened, there may exist the possibility of an alternative method to proceed with Operation Transient without alerting the other deities to our plan. Conclusion 2. When we have accepted that abyssal space is somewhat of a tesseract or hypercube with our direct relation to our dimension, then the benefits of exploiting this resource become more obvious. Certain creatures of the abyss contain unnecessary surplus of organs that may be harvested to provide carrying pouches for various magically unstable objects. I ran some experiments with sample XJ13, also known as Rune Essence, and managed to place 6 parts in a space that would seemingly only hold 1. Continued experimentation with these stolen samples showed that moving items between our dimension and abyssal space degraded the use of these pouches, but a simple transfiguration spell, when cast within the abyss upon these pouches, restored their uses back to the original result. Should we ever locate the source of these essences that the Wizard Tower seemed to have an endless supply of, I would strongly recommend the harvesting of these creatures for their organs, so as to maximize the efficiency of our rune manufacturing process. Some degree of caution will be necessary, as the creatures of the abyss are seemingly very aggressive. Conclusion 3. Our first discovery of abyssal space was somewhat of a fluke, and a not easily repeatable fluke at that. It proved exceedingly difficult to find the correct mystical resonance for this dimension due to my original belief that abyssal space is not a fully fledged dimension of its own, so we have had to resort to unusual measures to gain permanent access to this realm. We took a large number of initiates and gave them each supplies to cast a portal spell. We then had them repeatedly teleport to various locations, seeking to replicate the original error that had caused the first entry into abyssal space. Once one of our initiates had managed to fail his teleport and appear in abyssal space, he was then charged with remaining there and holding a portal spell open, so that more senior members of the Zamorakian Magical Institute could gain entry via his portal. This initiate is still there, and due to the intense concentration required to keep the portal open, it is my recommendation that we leave him there, holding the bridge open for us. As an initiate, he is always expendable should something go wrong, and the slow passage of time within abyssal space means that we don't need to worry about feeding him or anything. At the time of writing, this portal is still active, and will allow us to teleport people at will into abyssal space. The only downside to this method of teleportation is that we are using magic provided to us by our Lord Zamorak himself, so anybody who uses this teleport will inevitably be marked by him, or become skulled, as the common folk put it. An interesting side effect of this portal is that various teleports within abyssal space were opened by its casting. These teleports seem to lead to mysterious temples dedicated to various magical elements which I believe are directly related to rumors that we have intercepted of the rediscovery of rune crafting by the Wizard's Tower. Sadly, we must conclude from these temples that the rumors are indeed true, and that the destruction of the Wizard's Tower has been in vain, as was the sacrifice of those who died to try and prevent the meddling ceremonists from gathering access to the creation of magical runes. I have detailed my findings relating to rune crafting in a separate document, and passed it on to my superiors, along with my recommendations on how best to thwart their research further. Until a final decision is taken, I suggest we make the best of a bad situation and increase our own rune production to full manufacturing capabilities. I have already ordered buyers to purchase as much sample XJ13 as can be bought, and to hire some mercenaries to sabotage the research efforts of the Wizard's Tower, or failing that to provide us some insight into where their steady supplies of essence are coming from. Until my next report, I remain as a ever loyal servant. Strength through chaos. And that's it for the Abyssal Notes. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a good one. Peace. Strength through chaos.